What do you think is the most overrated car?
Oh man, this has been going around a lot on Instagram lately. So everybody has been saying the GT3 RS is the most overrated car. And I think it's very important to understand the meaning of overrated, right? When I say the GT3 RS is overrated, it is an amazing car. It is an incredible car. It is one of the best track cars of all time. But the term overrated is saying that the car is rated higher than it is worth, right? Effectively, a GT3 RS is trading for what, $500,000 maybe? And it's an amazing car, but I just don't think it's worth it, $500,000. And I don't track my cars. I'm not a track guy, so that means nothing to me. I like to drive my cars on the street. I don't care about lap times. That car at 300 grand is an incredible car, and that's where Porsche priced the car. They stated the value of it, and it's going for $500,000 out the door. I would say that's overrated from a valuation standpoint.
Let's do overrated and underrated for certain cars, all right?
Yes.
Okay, Cybertruck.
I mean, obviously overrated. I mean, like, talk about the biggest gimmick, right?
Cybertruck? Yeah, I would say so.
I think it's pretty cool.
I think
it's cool, but cool and overrated are different.
Right, because
I'd pay
everyone
70
thinks it's
grand
very
for that
high.
car.
Some people say that it looks horrible, though. Like, I feel like that's a pretty large
Right.
contingent of people that feel that way. So would that make it overrated? Because the general consensus is probably that it's pretty cool.
I think it's cool, but I think it's overrated in the sense of all the hype and everybody paying over for it. Like, I guess I'm looking at it from an evaluation standpoint. The one thing with a Cybertruck is right now it's really, really cool, and the novelty of it is what makes it cool, is that it's so different. But imagine a world in 4 years when there are Cybertrucks everywhere. Is the novelty going to completely have worn off, and then we'll see it for how ugly it is? Now, ugly doesn't mean it's not cool, though. The Espada is ugly, but that's cool, I think.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Nissan Z series.
I think well, it's weird because so I had the new Nissan Z and I just sold it, and the audience overall wasn't very impressed with it. But I thought it was a really fun car to drive. It was really fast. I thought it looked really good in person. It didn't photograph well. So in a weird way, I would say that car is kind of underrated in a sense, at least the new one. But I just sold it because I didn't like it that much. But it got more hate than it deserved. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't deserve as much hate. It could deserve a little bit of hate, but not as much hate.
What about a PT Cruiser?
That is probably the worst car I have ever driven in my life. I've driven a PT Cruiser. It's legit. I mean, the build quality on that thing is awful.
Why'd they have to make it look like that too? I mean,
it was crazy for its time, though.
They did a convertible PT Cruiser, bro.
You should get one of those.
you should get one of those and trick it up.
Oh my gosh. What would you do to trick it up?
Rims,
Drive
spinner
it off a
Lift
Grand
it.
Canyon?
Or lower it.
stance it.
I think maybe you guys should do a spin-off channel that's a car channel, and you can start with a PT Cruiser. You guys do that.
Huge wing.
I've done enough
Funny.
gimmicks. I'm kind of over the gimmick. I had a Jeep Lamborghini. The gimmicks, the PT Cruiser. Yeah.
Lamborghini Gallardo.
Oh my gosh. One of the most underrated cars. Oh my, especially a manual. It is such a phenomenal car. And that's a good option for an undervalued car too, a manual Gallardo. They just I think that, there's a certain contingency that just loves the new stuff, right? Like, new stuff is always better, always better, always better, always better, always better. But the new stuff has become so mind-numbing. It all feels the same. I mean, you get in a brand new, let's say, Huracan, you get in a brand new 720S, a brand new GT3, they all have, the double clutch transmission. They all have 600 horsepower. They're all perfect. The cars are so dialed in now. They're so good that in a way they don't have as much soul. Like the newer stuff, and you could say that the Gallardo has less soul than a Countach, right? Like, I think as cars, develop and get better and better and better, you lose the soul more and more each time. And the Gallardo to me is just like, it's kind of one of those end of the era cars. It has that, whether it's a manual or even an e-gear, like the yellow one behind me is an e-gear. And the E-Gear has its flaws, but you can kind of fall in love with the car because of the flaws. It's got an NAV10. It sounds incredible, especially the first gens. I think the looks, especially the first gen, they are aging like a fine wine. I mean, every single time I see a first gen Gallardo, it just looks better and better and better. And at $100,000, I mean, you're getting a car that has the Audi influence, that's well built, that has decent reliability. You got good performance. You still have a little bit of Lamborghini soul in it. I think it's just like a really nice blend. It's a great entry level car. I love the Gallardo.
What about a Toyota Prius?
The new Prius.
I love the new Prius.
I like it. I'm so happy we're on the same page.
Good looking. It is. I mean, talk about 180-degree turnaround.
I agree.
You know, I mean that car. I want to see one with a wide body kit lowered on air.
So I was
such a good looking car from every angle.
This is going to sound so lame. I was on priuschat.com and they were comparing the value of the new Prius versus a new Tesla Model 3. And the Prius overwhelmingly won when you looked at the price. If you're doing long distance driving, so for road trips,
right,
the Prius won. For town driving, Tesla was better. But it's an incredible value right now. I really, really, really like it.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not looking to knock Teslas, but, Tesla has stuck with the same design language for forever. I mean, like the big four that they have, right? They all look the same. The Model S, the Model 3 is a squished version of the S. The Model Y is a extended version of the S. And then the Model Y is a extended version of Model 3. Did I say that right?
Like they're almost.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We understand what
they're all iterations of each other.
Yes.
Right? Whereas the Prius is like a clean slate design.
I think
it
so.
Looks just amazing.
I thought they did such a good
underrated.
job.
Yeah, very underrated.
Yeah.
Very, very, very underrated.
What about a Fisker Karma?
It's such a beautiful car. Like visually, it's a great look. Like I think it looks really nice, but it's a terrible car. It's just a terrible car. So I guess that would underrated, overrated. It's just awful. Looks good though.
Probably overrated.
I guess it'd be overrated.
The only thing that
Why,
people think about when
rating
they
it high though.
Well, they think about Justin Bieber.
Well, right,
Oh my God,
right.
Such a long time ago.
No, but people still think about it. I feel like when
when I think of Fisker Karma, I do think of Bieber's Chrome Fisker.
There was some video where paparazzi were like following him or something, and the
911 call.
And he said he was in a Fisker,
Yeah.
and the 911 operator was like, "What?" And he's like, "It's a Fisker." And he's like,
Yeah.
"She did." Yeah, it was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's beautiful looking. I think it had huge potential, but I don't know the full story of Fisker, but I'd love to take the tech of a Tesla and put it in the body of a Fisker. I think that'd be really cool.
All right, we're almost done here. Lucid Air.
I think those are. I've never driven a Lucid Air. Every time I see one though, it kind of has this weird like Rolls Royce-y like mystique vibe to it. Whenever you see one driving by, you're like, who's driving that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like it just has this dark, cool, futuristic look to it when it's going down the road. I haven't driven one though. I do think that's a car that will depreciate a ton though.
Mhm.
I think it's going to follow the Bentley trend sort of, because I think the buyer is only going to want it when it's brand new. And because the third party network is so bad for charging cars, I could just see that tanking in value, but I think they're cool.
What about Hellcat?
Oh, I love a Hellcat. God bless America. I mean, I have to say, like, Dodge, Mopar, Chrysler, whoever the group is, like, they have done such a fantastic job of kind of like staying true to their roots when every other manufacturer is caving into EV and hybrid. And I just love the fact and I realize that they have since changed. Like the new Challenger is, I think, an EV, but just the Hellcat. I mean, like 700 horsepower. They put the Hellcat engine in the Challenger. They even put it in the SUV, the Durango.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are so cool.
That was cool.
That's so cool. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Hellcat. My Gladiator, my 6x6 Gladiator has a Hellcat in it. So I would say that those are, I'm not going to say overrated. I don't think underrated. I think there's a very passionate following for them that respect them. I love a Hellcat.
Last one, G-Wagon.
Okay, so the price point on the new G-Wagon, especially like during COVID.
Oh gosh, 280
I
grand,
mean, just
$300,000.
obscene amount. There's the squareds too, the G squareds. Those are trading for $400,000. At that price point, it's just absolutely out of control. But like an old G squared, you can get for like 170K, or like an older G-Wagon. I like the build quality. Always love Mercedes. I've never actually owned a Mercedes. but I can almost guarantee certainly the first Mercedes I'll ever have will be a G-Wagon.
Mm.
I want to get a squared someday,
Mm.
like the older generation G
Yeah.
squared.